Hey, what's up, Street Talks? Eric from the Eric Street Talk blog. So I want to give you a super meta introduction to essentially what I'm doing. So essentially, I have iMovie open, and I'm trying to demonstrate the street photography technique of photographing them. And this is essentially how I edit it. So I watch it first in iMovie. I use GoPro Fusion. I use the overcapture function to get the video function, and then every time I want to chop something, I press the hotkey Command B, and you can see what I'm trying to do right now. So the part I'm on right now is I'm trying to describe how to shoot layers in street photography and how to use the bookend technique. So this is one still frame that I actually find quite interesting, and basically the concept you need to know is, here you have two guys on the extreme right side of the frame, and then you have this couple here in the background. And while this photo isn't the best photo, I think I did a pretty good job of I'm trying to demonstrate the technique. So basically the concept is you have these guys in the far extreme right side of their frame, and you can see how they fill that side of the frame, and they're the bookend subjects. And the reason they call it bookend is visually it fills up the right side of the frame and it blocks everything else. And you could imagine a bookend on the shelf holding the energy into the center. Then you have these two subjects in the background outlined in green, and they're essentially the background subjects. And if you take a look at this image visually, once again, here on the right side of the frame, you have all these guys blacked out, and then you have these two subjects in the background. So you have someone in the extreme foreground and people in the extreme background. And the reason why I thought this was so exciting to show was, essentially I have a still image of what it actually looks like when I was photographing this scene, because it's a little bit difficult to describe. Technique. So essentially it's this. Take a look at this still image that I pulled from the video. Take a look. So this is my lens here, and I'm shooting with a 24mm lens on the Lumix LX100. And based on the perspective, the field of view is probably around like here to about here. And you can see his face in the foreground, his face in the extreme foreground, and they're on the extreme right side of the frame. And then you have these two people in the background. And once again, take a quick look at this. And then I want you to observe afterwards. Maybe we could flip through these two things. Yeah, so visually, this is the photograph. And this is the behind the scenes. Once again, this is the actual photo, and this is the guy in the right side of the bookend. These bookend subjects here, because the lens is 24 and it's really wide. And then you have these two people in the background. And then the reason why I think the GoPro Fusion is so interesting, I think you get a better sense of depth and where I'm standing in respect to the subjects. And if I wanted to show you the other version of that, these two things outlined here. So once again, this is the behind the scenes. 24mm lens goes this wide. And then you have them on the extreme right side of the frame. And then you have them on the left side of the frame. So to me, I was really interested in this technique because it's really difficult to explain this concept unless you show it to somebody in real life. And I think for the first time ever, I've been able to successfully describe this in a video, which I'm actually pretty excited for. And just to kind of show you what else I might do. So I've made all these images, and then what I'll do is I'll just press Shift, left click, and I'll just hold left click and then drag these all into iMovie. And in the top left corner, under iMovie preferences, I have the photo duration set to default of 1.5 seconds. So all these images I import from my Finder to iMovie is going to be And so what I'll do here is I press the space bar to find the footage. So you can see here, now I've created these images in Photoshop, and you can better see the depth here. And the way I was able to go this is in Photoshop, you can see all these different layers that I've created. This is the original image. What I did was I hold left click, drag this down to the new layer function here. So I created a layer, and then I used the lasso tool to make this red background. And you can see the layer. I've made this opacity by default 100%. I've actually made this around 70%. Then I add some text, which says bookend subjects. And the next layer, I use the lasso tool, this little magnetic lasso tool, polygon lasso tool on the far left. I outlined these subjects, and then I wrote background subject, but you can see it's a little bit hard to read the text, so I created another layer here. You can see this layer here of the subjects, it's at 43%, it's not 100%, to better demonstrate the technique. And then what I could actually do afterwards, which is super cool, is if you're thinking about layers in general, you click background, copy here, create a new layer, and then what I'll do is I'll press the hotkey M for rectangular marquee tool, then I'll press Command A to select the background, then I'll right click on my trackpad, fill, contents, black, OK, and bada bing bada boom, you've created this cool surreal image. And then the hotkey I'll do is Command Shift S, I'll click Format, press J to go to JPEG, and then you can see I want this in the sequence, so I'll click bookend 6, and now replace this with bookend 7, press Enter, save this to quality 8, it's good enough, click OK, and you can see in my Finder, it's going to be saved. Then press spacebar to enlarge this as this image here. And then what I want to do is I want to keep creating new images to better describe it without having to make it too obvious for the subject. So I'll left click these little eyeballs here on left for the text, and click this here. Now I'll be able to press, once again, the hotkey is Command Shift S, click this, press J, this is bookend 8, now press Shift up, Command C, press Enter, Enter, saving that, and then make sure I'll create another one with opacity to 100%. Click layer 2, make this 100% too. Once again, Command Shift S, press J. Now I've previously copied the text. Oops. J, press J. I press Command V because I copied that text earlier. Change that to 9. OK. And yeah, so it creates a much more visually compelling image. Click Finder. So these two images that I haven't added yet to the video, I'll click back to iMovie. Let's see, which ones do I have to add? I think we already added this image here. Okay, so I'm now going to hold Shift, hold down key, down arrow, hold left click, drag this into the media library. And now we'll go back into the beginning of the clip, left click there and press spacebar. So now you can see when I'm about to export this function, it's going to be super cool and exciting for everyone else to see. So the reason I'm making this video is to both describe the street photography technique and also to show if you're a street photographer trying to create your own behind the scenes GoPro footage, this is what you could do. And then you see in the top right corner, click save here, you can click file, and then you can title this GoPro behind the scenes or whatever, and click next. And then you go to save. And you can see what I've actually done is in Lightroom, I had all these images queued up. So left click, press E, so I can enlarge the image. Computer's a little bit slow right now because I'm running a bunch of other things. Right arrow. So you can see all the different photos that I've shot within the sequence. And to demonstrate it, then I'll just click export. And I've saved it under this directory and clicked export. And you can see it under files. This is where I actually had. I'll press Command A to select all of these, press spacebar to select all the images. Then in the top left corner, I'll click this contacts thing here. And then you can see all the different images that I'm working with so far to make this video. So anyways, I'm still in the process of making this video, but I want to give you a quick exclusive behind the scenes look.